Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of OVPLT Talks. I'm delighted to welcome to the office today Tom O'Mara, the Head of Digital Education in the UCC and Manager of the Centre for Digital Education. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the newly adopted digital education principles for the university. And these have their origin, I suppose, ultimately in the UCC 2022 strategic plan. But we decided that after COVID, it would be good to, I suppose, refresh where as a university we are going in terms of digital education. So Tom, over to you. Can you explain a little bit about how this digital education plan was created and what it's all about?
Absolutely, thank you, Paul. The Centre for Digital Education has been around since 2015 in one shape or another, but we haven't had a strategic plan about how to I suppose, support digital education in UCC. So that's what this plan is all about. Now, we define digital education very broadly, in a sense as the use of delivery of education through digital technologies, but also then the support of staff to be able to do that. And there's an ongoing national conversation about those definitions at the moment. So we've deliberately left ours very broad. The Digital Education Plan then started, the process for developing it started in March 2022. We went out to consultation to the colleges, then we went through a series of workshops, and then finally went back to the colleges towards the end of 2022 into 2023 for further consultations. And what we decided to do then was we broke it out into the digital education principles and the actions then that support it. So the actions and the principles together effectively are the plan. So the principles were approved by Academic Board on 31st of May, and we're in the process then of creating the Digital Education Plan, which is the actions about how to enable that. So just very quickly, the four principles that have been approved by AB and UCC are: UCC will promote digital education to enhance pedagogy-informed, largely campus-based learning, teaching and assessment practices. So it's all really about how do we support the campus-based experience. It's also about using digital education tools and resources to support delivery of student-centred, equitable education, incorporating UDL, Universal Design Principles. And thirdly, it's about encouraging the adoption of appropriate digital education approaches to address learning and teaching challenges posed by new technologies. I suppose AI is the big conversation piece at the moment. And finally, then it's about supporting the enhancement of students' digital literacy. So when they leave here, they leave UCC with good digital skills.
Yeah, and I think it's very interesting. The first one there is enhancing the pedagogy-informed, largely campus-based learning. It's trying to split that impression that we might have had pre-pandemic, that digital education equaled online. Yeah. Here, we will be doing a lot of online, but here it's largely the focus will be, I suppose, in enriching the campus experience for our students rather than putting programs online. So Tom, how will these principles be achieved?
So what we're doing at the moment is we're putting together a SharePoint site that'll be the Digital Education Plan. So it'll be the principles I've just outlined, plus a series of actions, including milestones, timelines, and naming the collaborators. The key thing to the Digital Education Plan is we're using existing actions and existing units within UCC to deliver some of these actions. So collaboration is key. So you're talking about, IT services, the libraries, CERTL, the Students' Union, SREO, and a whole bunch of different offices across the university. So we're trying to be clever about it and work together with people over the next couple of years to deliver the plan.
Yes, and that actual plan, I'd imagine we'll send out for, I suppose, information to AC Learning and Teaching maybe in the autumn as well. And this plan, in terms of resourcing, there's an obvious question people are going to ask you. will it require additional resourcing?
Yes and no. I suppose we're trying to be clever about it. We're trying to say, well, we've actually got a whole bunch of different initiatives happening at the moment that are using existing resources, so we're going to build them into the plan. We're looking at things like, if you look at the spread of instructional designers, for example, across the campus since 2015, you see, for example, the College of Medicine and Health have quite a few instructional designers. So we need to look at why did they do that and what has it enabled them to do, to see are there lessons we can learn elsewhere. Working very closely with buildings and estates and with IT services as well to make sure that that they're informed about what we're trying to do. So we're marrying all those approaches together. So hopefully it won't be very costly, but it's inevitable, I think, that there are going to be digital education resourcing implications in some quarters, depending on people's ambitions.
Yes, indeed. You and I were at a meeting earlier this morning with our colleagues in IT services who are really behind this as well in terms of, I suppose, the infrastructure of the technology that we need. So, well, thank you very much, Tom. It's a very interesting setup. I think it's always a fool's game to try and predict what the future will be, but I think, one thing we can say with a reasonable degree degree of confidence is that in the future we'll be doing a lot more in terms of digital education. So it's great to see we have a plan for that will hopefully set up the university for success in that over the next number of years. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.